Welcome to Seat Time, everybody, the off-road show that brings you all the results, news, and online shenanigans that make being online a good time. We'd like to say thank you to Fly Racing for their support of Seat Time. Please go check them out at flyracing.com.
Welcome to Seat Time, everybody. Brian Pierce, your host for episode 191 on a Tuesday evening. You're like, why do you look different? Well, it's because I did a review in my truck this past weekend, and so it just like totally crazy. So with that, though, it's just Steven is with family, and my wife is the producer this evening, so we're just trying to have a little bit of fun with it. And while we have this kinds of fun, we're going to see what is happening. But it's going to be a good night here, so thank you for tuning in to Seat Time, the online show for the off-road enthusiasts. The good news is we're back. Sorry for the two-week break, but you know, it's holidays, it's family, all that kinds of stuff. Next week is Christmas. That's the way it's going to go. Of course, thank you very much to Fly Racing, Kenda Tire, and Stillwell Performance for their support of Seat Time. We will talk with them a little bit later into the show. But of course, because of the fact that our guests sometimes have lives and they need shit they need to go do, we just come in hot, get them on, and talk to them because they're cooler than we are. And so I went on the internet today because that's what I do, and I went to Dirt Buzz to kind of check and see what they had going on, and that's actually Dale had put up his feature on Alexander Smith about going to Dakar. Wow, I'm already just freaking out. I'm so nervous. But it's just crazy reading about this, and I'm so excited to get a chance to talk to Alexander and learn more about this dude. So we just have to say, Alexander, how is your evening going so far?
My evening is going great. I'm actually still here in my office at work and be here for about an hour or so more. But evening's going good. Thanks for having me. I'm not sure I'm cooler than you guys are, but thanks for having me on the program.
Well, the good thing is we just like to have a good time. We like to bring in guests from the off-road world, be it anybody that thinks that they can enjoy two wheels more than us, because we just want to prove them wrong, that just having a good time on dirt bikes is what it's all about. And we know that you can do that because we've seen you ride, we've seen you have fun throughout your 30 years on this earth, and you're a badass, and that's why we want to talk to you. And it even more so, going to Dakar is just absolutely insane. So it's one of those things I kind of have to admit, like, obviously I know who Malcolm Smith is, and I've known that Malcolm Smith has a family. He's got kids, he's got a son, blah, like all that kinds of stuff. But it's one of those deals where I can't say that I like followed his kids specifically. So I knew that you existed, I knew that you rode, and you did stuff with motorcycles. But the feature on Dirt Buzz today was very eye-opening into how ingrained in the industry you are. It's just literally on the 180 degrees of where your father was when he was riding, because he was kind of the face of the guys riding the bike, where you're the kind of the face of the guy that's making sure that those guys have the bikes. So that's kind of an interesting, I guess, place to find yourself. Is this kind of how you saw your whole life, like being in the industry?
Yeah, it's funny, when I was younger, I didn't really dream of being a racer or being a professional motorcycle racer. I dreamed of being a business person. I think that's kind of a nerdy dream for me to have, but that's really, kind of what I always thought about is, running my own business, doing something professionally in that sense. It wasn't ever, I want to be a pro motorcycle racer. I loved riding motorcycles, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to do that for the rest of my life. And I think I enjoy them more because it's not a profession for me that I have to go out and pin it to make a paycheck every week. I go out and have fun, and I do cool adventures, and I have a real job.
Yeah, it's I have a real job as well, and I try to find a way to go ride my motorcycle as much as possible. But on top of that, I like to race too. Like, I think because racing's just fun. I like those weekends where you get to go out with your buddies and you get to be kind of competitive, and you can kind of like, you can bench race about it afterwards. Everybody kind of crap talks each other beforehand. Of course, then afterwards, they definitely crap talk each other. And I love that aspect of it. But in the sense of, I kind of would like, it'd be great if I was fast, but I never was growing up, so I never really had any any really big dreams of being super fast. But it's got to be interesting for you with your family dynamic. I mean, would your father have ever pushed you to ride and/or race motorcycles, or was it just a family activity because he was just ingrained in it?
Yeah, it was never pushed on me, that's for sure. I didn't have a motorcycle until I was maybe 12 years old or something like that. It was one day I asked my dad, I think, why don't I have a motorcycle? And he looked at me and said, well, you never asked me for a motorcycle. So I said, well, can I have a motorcycle? And he said, sure. So we went out that day and we got an old beater Honda, tiny little motorcycle, and I couldn't touch the ground on it, and took the seat off, and that was my motorcycle for the next 2 years. But it was never, pushed on me. I think the first race that I ever went to with him, where I was racing, we were sleeping in the back of the van before the race, the night before, and he said, I remember we're just about to fall asleep, and I heard him say, in the darkness, he said, if you don't want to race tomorrow, you don't have to. And I was like, no, this is what I want to do. I want to be here. I want to be racing. I guess I just never wanted to do it professionally, but he made sure that he was very clear that this isn't something that I had to do.
Right. He wanted to make sure that at no time you ever were like, oh my God, my dad made me do this. Like, because of who he was, I guess, in that sense, which is awesome. There are times now, we're going to dive off into a little bit of weird territory. There was a time, and I'll say it, I was 12 years old, and my dad wanted me to go to this race so bad, and I was just like at that stage where I didn't know if I liked riding, I was afraid of racing, all that kinds of stuff, and my mom had to have pep talk me to get into the van because my dad wanted to spend that time with me and be out there racing and stuff. And it's interesting because that was kind of like that weekend of racing with my father was a big turning point in me kind of like growing into, I guess, the enthusiast I am today. So obviously I'm glad my mom kind of did that, but it wasn't my dad. It was my dad out there loading us up. My mom was like, son, you need to man up and go because it's that time. Your father needs this time with you. So it's interesting. But yeah, it's good to know that your dad wasn't out there like, well, I am who I am, so now you got to be me too.
Right. No, it was never that way. He made very sure of that.
Right.
I never felt the pressure that I think a lot of people assume that I did.
Right. And so, okay, easy. We could just go on this weird tangent forever talking about your childhood and growing up with Malcolm Smith. But the big thing is you're about to race Dakar. Now, it's crazy that you did solo 2013, won the Baja 1000. That's epic. And then, of course, you're like, always in the back of your mind, I want to race Dakar. My dad raced the Dakar in the 80s in Africa. Of course, now we're kind of in a different continent. That's okay. It's still a manimal of a beast. So talking with Quinn Cody and starting to get this organization figured out how you're going to start racing Dakar in 2016, when you're like, oh crap, it's happening, what is your first thing to learn? Tell us that, because I've done rally and I know what my first thing to learn was, but I want to know from your standpoint, you were just like, oh my God, I'm about to race Dakar and I don't know how to do X.
Yeah, I think it was Quinn sent me a text and said, hey, I'm going to do some rally training, on such and such a date up in Barstow, and you need to get there and you need to have this equipment on your bike. And so I said, oh, okay, well, I can do that. And so I went out and bought the rally equipment and put it on my bike. And as I was mounting it up on the bike, I'm looking at this stuff going, what the hell does this stuff do? And that moment was just kind of like, oh crap, this is going to be a lot more learning than I expected, but it ended really well. We did the rally training with Quinn. He's been really cool with his time, and I think that was the most intimidating thing for me. And he got it to the point for me now where it feels pretty natural, and I feel pretty good doing it.
Yeah. Okay, so I was actually, the rally training was epic for me, like in the sense of like learning that. I really like digging into the functional bits of situations like that. There's so much raw talent when it comes to riding. So when there was a chance for me to be able to find a way to be fast without having to have that raw talent, I was like, oh, awesome. So, but is it just me, or does reading a road book and navigating not feel like a traditional timekeeping enduro completely on steroids?
Yeah, it's definitely got a little bit of that component to it. And you're not the first person that's actually mentioned that, and it got me thinking of, that yeah, it is similar to that. You gotta think a lot more than go fast. I guess is the best way to say it. It's the thinking man's race, and Dakar takes that timekeeping aspect and just expounds on it to the point where it's almost like it's brain overload every minute, that you're trying to make those navigational decisions. You're still trying to go fast, but, you're not trying to make a navigational error that's going to, put you way behind.
Right. Nope, you're absolutely correct. Okay, now we're doing Dakar. I'm going to go do a little bit of rally training. I'm reading the road book. It's scary as crap. I haven't totally figured it out yet, but you're feeling more confident in it. So then, is it at this point in time where you start to get hooked up with the Husqvarna HT team, or is it this point you don't totally know what's happening yet with your team aspect of it?
Yeah, the team didn't really come together until maybe 5 or 6 months ago. I'd been talking to Quinn, and there was various ideas bounced around about how we could make it happen, because it's a huge undertaking to go to Dakar. I mean, budgetary wise, it's a lot of guys throw out the $200,000 number, and that's not real far off. It's also a huge time commitment for me to be away from the dealership. So it was one of those things like, man, I don't know if I can pull it off. Even if I can raise $200,000, I don't know if I can be away from the dealership for 3 weeks in one go in January. But once Quinn and I talked more and more, he said he had somebody to introduce me to, and that was Hank, the owner of HT Rally. And once I got hooked up with him and started having conversations with him, it was really when the ball started rolling forward, and we're like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We have a set program. So that was a good moment for me when it was like, okay, we got it all figured out. And I think the other cool moment was when I went to Morocco in October, and that was the first time that I had met the team and seen the bike, and it was really a good feeling meeting the team and seeing how organized they were, and it made me feel really good about what the kind of support that I have at Dakar, because they're totally dialed and super factory. I was really stoked on them.
That's awesome. Yeah, reading the Dirt Buzz feature, it was great to read about your feelings when you guys did the Moroccan rally, about how you were like, okay, like when you guys were there and you were seeing the team function as the team that they are, it was like, okay, like I'm ready. These guys are ready. I know now. It was funny too how you even mentioned it's hard for me to not want to have all control. But I would imagine now that you're in this situation, you probably get why someone as the rider doesn't need that kind of control. Like you need to handle that. You need to hand that off to somebody else. So there's the focus is on what you on the bike needs to be doing. And that's awesome that you're able to find that with the Husky HT team. Now, they've been doing a lot. I think they're going to their website and looking at that. They've been kind of around since like 2005. Have they kind of gone to Dakar at this level in the sense of supporting riders, or have they been more of a like rent to ride Dakar, if you can qualify and pay kind of a situation?
Yeah, HT has always been that kind of rent to ride thing.
Okay.
I think from the inception. They had a pretty significant hand in Honda getting to Dakar and building the program that they have now. Hank was really instrumental in putting that all together. But at this point, they're the official satellite team of Husqvarna. They have factory bikes. If you didn't know it when you saw the team, you would think, this is a factory team. The bikes are that good. The support's that good.
Oh, yeah. The pictures that were in the Dirt Buzz article, those were phenomenal. The bikes look like they are factory Husqvarna motorcycles. So put together by those dudes, that they're doing a fantastic job, with the way that they spend their money and putting it in all the right places, which is the way you want to do it. So, Dakar. You did the Moroccan rally. You wound up day one. Didn't exactly get to where you wanted to be, but you've kind of made up for it. You did better than you started out, but at the same time, you probably weren't totally happy with that. But you came away safe, healthy, and you had a good time. You probably learned a crap ton. So going into Dakar now, you're getting ready to leave the country. I could have seen him after the holidays. How do you feel? What have you learned from Morocco to now that you're getting ready to do Dakar that you can take, that you can tell us that when we go do our smaller rallies that aren't nearly as treacherous as what you're about to undertake, that we can bring to the table and be that much better?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me when I got to Morocco, that it was kind of like brain overload. There was, everything was so different. The bikes are so different. Everybody's speaking a foreign language. The format of the racing is so different than anything I've ever seen before. It was just, kind of compounding on top of itself. Everything was so different, and it was really tough to get my brain around, how this race was going to happen. I'm sitting at the racer briefing, and this guy is just babbling on and on and on for 15 minutes in French. And then, and I'm sitting there just going, oh, this is not good. And then the guy that does the English translation hops up there, and he says he's going to do the English translation of what the French guy said, and he talks for like 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh man, this is not good.
Yeah, he did not tell me every single detail that man just said. I know he didn't.
Yeah, so it was all of that, and that's before we started racing. And then the morning of the race comes, and I was at the start of the special test before the top 5 guys left, and I had sort of this expectation in my mind that they were going to go fast, but man, when they left the start of the first special, it was like eye-opening to me. I was like, holy crap, are those guys really going to go that fast for the whole rally? Like, tell me they're just showing off right now. And everybody that had been there before was like, no, that's the top 5 guys are going to go that fast the whole time. And it was like, oh crap, I'm in big trouble.
Yeah.
And then that day was tough. It was the first time I had ridden the bike, and the bike is so different. And yeah, at the end of the stage, I was I just wanted to go back to my hotel room and book a flight home. It was pretty it was pretty discouraging. I was like, crap, I think I should give up riding motorcycles for the rest of my life.
Right. I understand. So one of my questions was going to be about why haven't you done the Baja Rally? And that's going to be my point, is like, I've had some interesting endeavors down there when I did that last year. And, it's like, I understand what you're saying on that day where you get done. You're like, I just want to go home. No. But why has that not been on your radar? Has it been once you found out you had a chance to do Dakar, that's just kind of been the focal point?
Yeah, it was, it wasn't on my radar in 2014 because I was really focused on the Baja 1000. Same for 2013. And this year it was, really close to the Moroccan Rally timeline. I think I got back from the Moroccan Rally, and the Dakar or the Baja Rally started the next day or something like that. And it just wasn't something that could work out logistically. I would have loved to have done it, so I had that experience going into Dakar, but it didn't work out. The timetable didn't work out. I can't imagine being away from work for that many races in a year and still having a job.
Well, I mean, if you want to, push the envelope a little bit, I'm trying to go back to the Baja Rally this year, or for 2016 in October. And I mean, if I'm going to be under a factory tent, I might as well be under a factory tent next to Alexander Smith, right? You know what I'm saying?
Sounds good. I'll tell HT that
that I'm coming.
Then we got 2 clients for him. Maybe they'll come over.
Yeah, I would like the Malcolm Smith Motorsports discount, please. Who are you? Yeah. Oh, I'm Brian Pierce. Hello. No, you're not on our list. Okay, maybe next year. No, but I think you should do the Baja Rally, and the only reason is because when I did it, it opened my eyes to the fact that there is a whole nother world going on below the border. And it's been unfortunate growing up in Louisiana, living in Texas now, all that kinds of stuff, having never been there. That was my first time to the Baja Peninsula. And it's an amazing place. Amazing place. And I can't wait to go back. It's been fantastic. Now, you guys do rides down there and all over the world with Malcolm Smith Adventures, right?
Yeah, we do. We do a large ride in Baja every year from Ensenada to Cabo. Take about 70 clients, and it's kind of a self-guided ride. So we have a course laid out on GPS, and all the clients get a GPS and get the course, and they can ride the course, each day's course at their leisure. So it's not like a follow somebody's dust all day kind of thing. But I spend a lot of time down in Baja. I know that country inside and out for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I got to do the Rip to Cabo with Cameron Steele, what was it, April this year. That's the reason why I didn't do the Baja Rally for 2015. And that's crazy. But it's what I was mentioning when I got to go to Baja for the first time. I was like, I have to come back. I have to come back. This is an amazing piece of country, amazing country. And, you know, being able to experience it now, doing the Baja Rally and doing the Rip to Cabo was absolutely amazing. I can only hope that one day I can find the gumption to get on whatever the right email list is to do the Ensenada to Cabo with the Malcolm Smith guys, because that's the way I want to ride Baja now. I don't ever want it to be the exact same thing. I want it to always be a different experience, because you can tell that land is so vast. And so I can only imagine what you guys could show me that nobody else could show me, or you know, or even some other random adventure group kind of a situation. So
yeah, it's funny. Fun. I was just I raced the Tecate Enduro down in Baja 2 weekends ago.
Yeah,
I took a newbie to Mexico down with me, and we went trail riding the next day after the race, and we were riding for about 30 minutes, and he pulled up next to me and stopped me. He's like, "So we can just like ride anywhere?"
Yeah, I know. And you're like, yep.
Like, yeah, that's kind of the point of coming to Mexico, is you just ride anywhere. The only thing that keeps you out is a locked gate.
And even then, sometimes I was surprised. You know, lock gates are lock gates, but I just like hearing stories about what people say. It's like sometimes a locked gate's not a locked gate, and you're like, oh, okay. I'm not going to cross a locked gate though, because I'm pretty sure I might get shot.
Yeah.
So okay, when do you leave the country for Dakar?
I leave the morning of the 29th, and I get to Buenos Aires on the 30th, the night of the 30th.
Man, so then you've got, what is that, the 1st? You've got 31st and the 1st to get ready, and then the prologue is January 2nd?
That's correct, yeah. It's a short stage, kind of a ceremonial stage, and then first real day is on the 3rd.
Well, dude, I know we kept you a little bit longer than we were hoping to, and I'm sorry about that, but thank you very much for coming on Seat Time. It's been awesome getting a chance to talk to you, learning a little bit more about Alexander Smith. It's one of those deals where, yes, anybody who rides a dirt bike and is enthused in this sport, they know who Malcolm Smith is. But the cool thing is we've got his spawn, his child of love, coming to our world and making a difference and doing all the cool shit that his dad didn't do. You know what I mean? And that's what's even more fun. And I like the fact that you're kind of doing it on my level. You know, not that I think that if you and I raced that I would beat you kind of a level, but the fact that you're out there looking for the adventures. You're out there making sure that you're having fun on your dirt bike, but you got to remember there's a 40+ hour week job to go back to sometimes, and I think we all kind of can lose sight of that. So it's awesome to see you finding that balance and making sure that you make it happen, but then going out, finding the adventures, and enjoying life as we all like to try to do. So, yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And maybe after Dakar, I can come on and tell you a bunch of cool stories.
No, you're going to have to. I pretty much think that's just going to have to happen. Yep.
Cool.
Thanks, dude. And just remember, when you're working out at the gym, I'm drinking a beer.
It sounds good.
All right, man. We'll chat soon.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so as we kind of transfer from one guest to the next, that was awesome getting a chance to talk to Alexander Smith. We are going to have Kris Keefer and Gary Sutherlin come on. So, Tam, while you're in the Skypes, there is going to be on your list. I think Kris Keefer's there. You should be able to give him a ringy poo. Of course, big thanks to Fly Racing. So, flyracing.com, if you guys don't already know, to go check those guys out. Go to your local dealer. Say, hey, I would like to support Seat Time and Fly Racing. Where's your Fly Racing gear? I'd like to check it out. It is best to buy that from your local dealer, because supporting your sport at the local level is the best way to support your sport, period. Same way with Kenda Tire. So with Kenda Tire, if your dealer does not carry Kenda tires and you're looking for them, you can ask them, say, hey guys, why don't you carry it? They can call their distributors, they can call Kenda, and they can get tires to them. Remember, the Equilibrium and some of their hybrid tires are absolutely amazing for riding off-road, especially in some of the gnarlier terrain. So, oh, my wife didn't hit the mute button before she called on Skype. Oh my God. We're getting all the fun messages. Message. Hey, is this the right person that we called?
Can you hear it?
Gary and Kris Keefer.
Oh, sound. Hold on, open it up. Can you see us?
I can't see you.
Oh, hold on. Kris doesn't know how to work a computer.
Kris doesn't know how to work. This is the best radio ever, bro. Isn't that stupid Steve's comment? Hey, there are those numbskulls.
Oh.
You guys, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're good.
Are we in dead zone? Okay. So, KendaTire.com. Go check out Kenda Tire USA. And then, of course, Stillwell Performance. And and we're going to...
What's happening?
I couldn't tell if that was like you hit play on some recorded thing, that some laugh track that you had, or if that was actually your daughter. That was hilarious. So
Emery's eating Lucky Charms.
I like it. She's lucky. She's got you two find men to help her grow up. So StillwellPerformance.com. I know we'll get these guys to talk about them doing all the badass that they do. Kris Keefer's ridden a couple of the bikes that they've put together for some of the Endurocross, and then the GNCCs out on the east. So StillwellPerformance.com if you have any kind of off-road suspension needs. Keep her pinned, bitches. Now we're going to get back to seat time. So we had a little bit of a serious moment. No, I wouldn't say we had too serious of a moment with Mr. Alexander Smith. But what we are going to do is we're going to take it down a notch and bring me back to my roots of being an awesome random dude with Kris Keefer and Gary Sutherlin. Holy crap, guys. How are you doing? It's been too long.
We were just fighting.
We were fighting like 2 minutes ago.
I was talking shit about his helmet and how he's putting on his stickers for his photo shoot tomorrow, and I said it looked like shit, and then he yelled at me.
Not all of us just, I'm not used to hitting kickers and getting free shit, so, my sticker placement's off a little bit. So, and he was nice enough to remind me about that.
Yeah.
Well, I really got nothing for you. My sticker placement's always pretty poor, so.
Well, there's certain ways that you got to put them on so the camera could see him, and Gary wasn't doing it the correct way, but his sticker game was actually really big, and I said, you need to dim those down just a little bit. So, plus he's hungry. So that means he's angry. That means he's angry.
I'm angry right now, man.
I think they make Snickers for that, right? Isn't that the whole commercial?
Got a couple Snickers, but I'm trying to watch my girlish figure over here, man.
You need to. I was going to say something. It's been too long, and you look. Maybe it's the camera, but you look pretty bloated.
It's not the camera, man. It's muscles. It's this D8 training right here. That's
right? I hear you. So, dude, Kris Keefer, you've been doing a lot of testing, a lot of figuring stuff out. I think the biggest thing that kind of was I got to figure out more about this is the saving the puppies and then the asterisk nose magnets thing. So, but in all honesty, what was the saving the puppy? I mean, we could tell from the video there were some puppies and probably a guy that had them and stuff. But were they keeping them there at the track to until they got homes? What was that?
Yeah, well, we were looking for what started it. We were looking for a quiet spot to just do the video, and went up. If you guys, people that are familiar with Milestone, there's a driveway coming down to the track. On the upper part of the property, there's a couple trailers, and there's some guys that live up there. Well, there's some Mexican guy that had a bunch of puppies, and I go, hey, Dennison, it'd be cool. Everyone loves puppies, so let's do a video by the puppies, right? So I sat there next to the puppies, and comes to find out they're the stray, the mama, end up humping some random dog next and had the strays, right?
That happens in California.
That's what happens, strays.
Don't even.
Hey, speaking of a stray dog, look at this dude.
We know where this is going.
I saw it coming a mile away. I was like, cut the tape.
Anyway, so the guy he has a nonprofit organization, and he saves stray dogs, and I thought it was cool. I'm a big dog lover. I actually like dogs better than humans, so I figured, So anyway, that's how it started. We ended up throwing his website on the deal, and so I guess the three puppies that were there already got saved, so that was cool.
Oh, heck yeah, that is cool. No, it was very random. So that's why I was I kind of want a little bit more on this. That's for sure. Okay, now the asterisk deal, is this what we saw Weston Pike and one or two other dudes while we saw the magnets taped on their noses earlier in the year for Supercross and stuff?
Right.
Were they kind of prototyping these, I guess, or testing them or whatever?
Yeah, so I guess these been around for about a year.
Okay.
And I tested some, I don't know, a few months back that was just a pre-production deal.
See that guy right there?
And
what kind of beer are you drinking tonight? I want to see.
Okay. Beer better than what you're drinking because you're not drinking any.
Yeah, is that a Yeti? Is that the Yeti thing?
Yes, it is.
Oh, you're the man.
Okay, so I'm drinking Franconia Falling Bock. So we live here in McKinney, Texas, and this is actually a local brewery. and you got to support, drink local, ride local, whatever.
I want to know why you need the Yeti thing though. You drink those things fast enough, you shouldn't have to keep it cold.
Hey, if it probably costs $700. That's why.
Yeah, I was like, hello. This was a whole paycheck. Okay. No, it was like
what's one show?
Yeah, it was like $30, so it wasn't too bad. And I'll be honest, it works. And for these shows, there's times when I drink a lot, and you're right, Gary. Like I just go through it, and they don't need to stay cold. They're cold the whole time. And then there's times like tonight where I'm not feeling all that hot, so I just kind of sip on it a little bit, and we just make it happen. So shut up, don't make fun of me. I'm going to call my mom.
So anyway, before Gary started talking about alcohol, we were talking about dirt bikes.
Okay,
drink it.
The asterisk stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, so
this is
that's
interesting.
the whole thing. They're just magnets to your nose, and there's a magnet piece that goes on the nose piece of your goggle, and it just magnetizes to your nose and spreads your nostrils open, similar to a breathe right. But people out there that wear breathe rights, it's kind of like having like two on it. It just really spreads your nostrils really wide, and there's a lot of skepticism out there as far as like people saying, oh, it doesn't work, and there's like scientific research that says that it doesn't. But for me as a test guy, like I go off of feeling, and I feel like I can breathe better with a breathe right or this AC system on. I feel like I can get more direct flow through my nose. Yeah.
No, I would love to try those. I don't know if you asked them, but I'm wondering, the tape thing I think is where it feels a little hokey. Now, granted, I haven't tested it. I haven't had a chance to play with it. Just looking at it anyway. Have they tried with playing around with anything that and maybe this just feels weird, but that pinches into the nostril a little bit and that has the magnet on it so it holds it there opposed to having to use the tape?
Know. Yeah, that I don't know, but I know that they've gone through different, magnets, and the catchy thing is you got to kind of know where to place them, because if you put them on, you got to know exactly where your sweet spot is, and it depends what goggle. But I run mine a little high, that way it spreads them open. Sometimes it doesn't catch, so you just got to learn where your sweet spot is. But otherwise, once you get it down, it's good.
It sounds like I'm 13 years old and I'm getting sex advice from an older man.
That's where I was going.
That's what I do. I help Gary with that all the time.
Well, yeah.
He thinks he does.
Oh my god.
Emotional guy. He's more of an emotional guy, more of a physical guy.
Yeah, he's like, you got to hug more. No, bro. No. You got to.
Exactly. He is a hugger. Huh?
That picture you put up, I don't even know how many weeks ago it was, though. It was a Wednesday night in Vegas. I think it was just your wife, sprawled, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, the side boob picture.
I like how he said sprawled.
Your
wife's all sprawled out hey.
those pictures I keep to myself.
I don't think that one wasn't on Instagram. Yeah, it was. That was just one he texted me that I thought was on Instagram because I was drunk. It happens. Happens to the best of us. Well, holy crap, Gary. Let's give Gary a chance to talk, and then Kris can make fun of him.
Oh, here we go.
Get in the hot seat.
The tide shifted.
Gary. Oh no, Gary. No, because the thing is,
actually a good-looking guy to talk to. Finally.
Hello. Yeah, you like the mustache, don't you? So, dude, great year. Obviously, you had a lot of injuries, all the kind of stuff that was, this, that, the other that wasn't the way you wanted it to go. But for being able to come back and kind of finish off the way you did, fucking congratulations. So,
thanks,
with all the way that things have gone, being a very, I think, positive to all of your sponsors, what does your 2016 look like? If you figured all that out, you're still signing contract. Wait, you said stickers and photo shoot tomorrow, so you must know something.
That's right. I'm lucky enough.
But the PR hasn't come out, so I can't say anything yet.
I'll tell you. What do you want to know? I can tell you whatever you want to know.
He's getting paid bank.
I'm a freak of nature.
Bank, bitches. I break all the rules.
This year's good. I'm taking on a way bigger workload as far as racing, and I'm sticking with KTM. I'm lucky enough to be factory supported again this year with KTM, and having Robbie working on my bikes, and just all around. I'm doing all the West Coast Off-Road Series, so I'm doing everything. I'm doing Hare and Hound, Works, Big Six, and West Coast Terra Scrambles.
Okay, holy shit.
So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of racing, and this year I've actually I made the move to Arizona.
Boo.
And I actually changed up my structure. I'm working with Desri really close, and Actually, I'm living about a mile or so from Taylor, so it's really good kind of change for me, personally. And Emery was good. I mean, I'm more friends and like close family there, other than like here in California where I just had Kris Keefer and his wife.
Your desert bros.
Yeah, so I mean, not to knock on them, but I had a little more support, I think, as far as more people. I can't just knock on their door all the time to help with Emery. So, I think structure-wise, it's going to be better, and so far, it's already shown to be an improvement for me. And I'm looking forward to 16. It's just going to be a lot of racing.
I have something to say though.
Go on, continue, sir.
I feel like KTM kind of gypped Gary. Like I feel like my personal view is KTM should have gave Gary a factory ride versus giving him support ride, when Gary is actually a more well-rounded ride, like a really good, well-rounded rider. Like he can ride moto, he can national hare and hound. He's a threat to win anything that he races,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
To me, not to mention other riders on the team, but like they're only a threat to win one series. They couldn't go to multiple series and win. And so this year, I think if Gary wins, he should be getting a ride, and a salary.
No,
that's my
yeah.
So the thing is, though, too, first off, I have to say that was the nicest thing Kris has said to me since I've been here, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But I will say this, like KTM had, like, there's politics beyond what other people can see as far as numbers and people being on the team and stuff that like as an outsider that I learned a little bit more about this year. So, I'm thankful enough to have the support I have with KTM, and they definitely stepped up the program for me this year more than last year. So I agree with Kris. Like I feel like I'm a threat in different series, but at the same time, like, it is a stepping stone, I guess. And I mean, at the end of the day, I just have to be thankful that I'm still able to, race for a living and, not let the small stuff bother me, which, it's
he takes it out on me and knocks
everybody
else.
Take it out on him. So I think, this year has a lot of promise for me, and I just need to stay healthy, and with the program and the people I have around me, it'll be good. And I look forward to bigger and better in 17, of course, and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, no, yeah, to Chris's point, yes, I kind of agree, because I've always wondered too, like the way that I've watched like Gary kind of come up and win this series and then win this series, and then I was like, holy shit, I was like, this guy's on point. It is interesting, but I think it's some of those weird series where like they're watching them one year and then they're not watching the next year, and so they feel like they're putting their money here, and well, he didn't win that one this year, and so it's like, oh well, I don't know, but yeah, like
the way I look at it is, and I told Gary this a while ago, is there hasn't been a rider that has won a national hare and hound and a works race since Kurt.
Yep.
I mean, that was the last guy that could actually do that, right? And then you have a guy that's done that, maybe not win both championships like Kurt did yet, but like a guy that can win both sides of it in a race, So maybe if you don't get hurt this year, maybe you'll be good.
Yeah, that comes down to it is, I made a stupid mistake last year and kind of just instantly put myself out of it. So, it was one of those things where, once I, had to swallow that pill that I was basically out of the championship in both series. I came back and I raced 15 times last year, and my worst finish was 2/3. So, I mean, I was first or second all year, but unfortunately, Ricky Brabeck got the best of me at the last round. Had to throw that in there. So I'm number 2 for works and number 3 for hare and hounds, and I think that's actually one of the bigger changes this year. You're going to notice is I talked with, you guys know Andrew Campo, and he's a really close friend of mine, and with me running 324 for PJ. We talked. I have some sponsors that were interested in me running the single digit, and he kind of threw it over to me and said, "You know what, buddy? You're always going to be, 324 at heart, and you're always going to be that number." So this year we're running. I'm running the number 3,
Mike Brown,
and I think there's some. Once I actually get to show a photo of my bike, I'm going to call Mike out on this, because I think it's a win-win for me. Running the number 3, either two things are going to happen. People are going to think Mike Brown's riding KTMs again. so they're going to come talk to me. Number 2, they're going to go. Then they're going to go, oh, Mike Brown isn't riding KTMs, and then they're going to still come up to me and talk to me. And then number 3, they're going to go, man, Mike Brown's put on some weight. I wonder, we better go talk to him. So
that dude got young. What happened?
Yeah. So
Villapoto and Mike Brown, number 2.
yeah,
and 3.
I'm Villapoto and Mike Brown this year. So switching it up a little bit, and but excited, man. It's going to be a good season. So
That's wicked, dude. So where is this photo shoot tomorrow? Are you going to be able to hit some kickers?
oh yeah, well, I don't
You
know.
won't look as good as me in the photo.
That's no one can, Kris
Yeah.
Keefer. No one can.
I don't have a 12-year-old girl's body, so I guess I'm never going to look good on a dirt bike.
Heather appreciates it. So
She's just glad she doesn't have too much to hold on to. She's got baby hands, so she can't really handle that much of a man.
hey, Pee Wee Herman, where's he at?
Yeah, dude, it's funny you bring that up because I was going to talk about that. Mr. Dale Spengler wanted to know what was going on with Mr. Pee Wee Hermhand.
We want that guy's back. Me and my wife followed Pee Wee Herman, and then we actually found a little baby's hand in Lake Elsinore dirt, and we kept it, and then we called it Pee Wee's cousin.
Pee Wee's left arm.
Hey, let's talk more about Gary.
No, I don't want to talk about it. Let's talk about something else. Come on, you
Gary's
guys can wear
wearing Troy Lee gear, Bell helmets, and Alpine Star boots.
Official?
And X-Brand goggles.
We all the contracts are signed. It's just happening.
It's done. Happened. Done.
How much?
Bonanza Plumbing.
Bonanza
Why
Plumbing.
am I repping your shit?
Yeah.
Hold on, because
He's not as much of a bitch as you are. I mean, he's
Yeah, exactly.
he just came out swinging. It's not my fault. Like, give me an opportunity to talk about it. Shit. He's like, rah, rah, rah. He's like,
I wish you were wearing fly though, because then we could hang out more.
Right.
don't be. Well, I shouldn't say
You didn't look good in that slim fit shit. You had to get some baggy stuff.
Yeah, I have a very muscular frame.
I like to call it husky when I talk about my men, but whatever.
Well, this is muscle, man. Come on.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's funny. Max Gerson said because we work out at Destry's gym together.
Right.
Working a lot on my flexibility and stuff because I'm not very flexible. Of course,
No.
you see my body type. And so he's like, dude, you just look like a fire hydrant. You're just a fire hydrant.
That's a good
Like,
one.
that is a good
one.
Yeah.
That makes me think of the T-Rex where he's like, I got a big head and little hands or little arms.
Now you're just making fun of me, and that's just messed up, dude. It's okay.
I'm the host. I can do what I want.
Give me my strong arm shot.
No, give me your other one. No, my strong arm.
I like the strong arm. You guys are too much fun. I like it togetherness. So that's a crap ton of shit going on the West Coast. Are you going to be able to do any of the endurocross that's going to take place in the back half of the year?
I'm not sure. I mean, there's a possibility. I mean, with having that many series and focusing on that much stuff, I mean, there's always a possibility of it. Depending on the season, you never kind of know, and it kind of depends on Auntie. But I mean, basically, I've been kind of told where they want me and what they want me to do, and unfortunately, like endurocross isn't in that picture, which sucks because I always loved endurocross, and I felt But the problem is with that is like you got Cody and Taylor and Colton and. That's just the top three guys. I mean, those guys are dedicating, everything to just that series,
Right.
So to not come in, I mean, I don't want to come in without being 100%. So there's a possibility of seeing me, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. What do you think? Now, this is definitely for both of you guys, and Chris may have some good input on this. What do you think about the endurocross schedule being literally like August to December and just squished all together? Just in a handful of months.
There's two ways to look at it. Because being that I've raced endurocross and they spread it out, it kind of sucks when it's spread out because you ride endurocross for a while and then you don't, and then you do. I like the fact that they bunch it together because it's going to give some of the endurocross guys an opportunity to race some other series and stuff at the beginning of the year.
Right.
I could see. But also, as far as like as a racer, another plus to that is when you start racing week in, week out, it's good. Like when you're racing week in, week out, you get more confident, everything, more gate drops, everything's good. But if let's say you get hurt or you have a nagging little injury, it can ruin your whole season.
Yeah, it compounds or you just don't ever recover.
Go ahead.
And also on the backside of that, for me, I think they ever since we switched, we were at Source and we moved over to Bonnier. We helped run Dirt Rider helped run endurocross, and now that we got bought out, Transworld's kind of doing that, and you're not going to see Don Maida at an endurocross event, So us guys here, the core guys at Dirt Rider, we like riding off road, so we like going and doing the races and promoting it. So I think the promotion of the events kind of lagged this year, so hopefully. maybe next year something will change, and that will kind of help the series along as well. Because I think for me, as a motocross guy, like every time I race it, I'm blown away how gnarly those dudes are. Like to me, those guys are real dirt bike dudes. Those guys have real handling skills. Like moto guys ain't got shit on those dudes. Like it's amazing to watch guys like Cody and Colton ride.
Taylor
and it's insane. So as far as doing the series that close, I think they kind of have to do that because some of those guys race different kinds of off-road races, and it kind of conflicts with other races. So it's tough to find, open weekends where the guys can make it too, So.
Yeah. And I think, and it's weird because if you look at the top guys, like we're talking the Cody Webbs, the Colton, and then of course we're like Kyle Redmond, some of those guys, like that was like all they did. Like, but then Kyle Redmond being, even though he is in that kind of, he's a factory beta. The problem is that he still needs to race other series to make more money, where Cody really doesn't. He's trying to go to school, all that kinds of stuff. So it's interesting that they're going to push it off to the back half and squish it all together. Now the Kyle Redmonds and the Max Gerstens are going to go race other series in the early part. But I wonder, like, if they're doing really good, is Beta still going to support them in those series, or is it just like they're just kind of putting their since they have open free time, they're going to send them to these events. I wonder if they're going to be there for the whole year, or if it's just really kind of, well, we're not racing endurocross at the beginning, so we'll just make it work.
Well, and also, too, you got to think about, the manufacturer is going to want more for their dollar. So, they give Redmond X amount of dollars and shit doesn't start till August. We need to put Redmond in something else to, showcase our bikes,
Yeah.
Because obviously there's not a whole ton of betas here in America. So you need to create awareness around
King of Hammer, Last Dog Standing, Tennessee Knockout, all those kind of things. As long as they like put those spread those dates around, they can keep those extreme off-road guys like doing those events. And I feel like exposure is exposure. You know what I mean? Like Beta, like he's saying, Beta is not going to want to sit around and not have any of their bike.
Yep.
Kyle Edmond or whoever it may be. I mean, look at like KTM's having me do all these series. Well, they're doing it because they want to see me and my bike on the podium week in, week out, just in the media, in the average guy's
He's a
face.
racing gypsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a workhorse, man.
Yep.
Workhorse.
That's why you're Husky.
Yeah.
Not on a Husky. You just are Husky.
Huskies.
Huh?
Everybody attacks my weight.
He gets sensitive on that shit. Be careful.
You just need to find a lady who's just like all about just giving bear hugs.
See, the thing is, Gary's not fat. He's just thick. Like
That's what she said.
That doesn't happen.
We like to think it does.
When you look at his stomach, he takes his shirt off because I observe him when he's getting dressed at the track.
That's not gay.
As
That's
you
not,
should.
Yes, that's not
I'm
gay.
married. Everything's fine. So
Yeah.
when I
It's
observe
weird.
you at the track,
Weird.
there's some abs there. I see the abs. It's like, you ever see those bodybuilders that just look thick and they have these chunks of abs? That's what Gary's like.
And then you're gonna start talking about how much like man chest hair he has too.
Let's change the
No,
subject.
Shave his shit. I tell him, don't
We're
grow
talking.
hair.
Why can't okay? Seat time's going in a totally wrong direction. I know rainbow and all this gay, all this stuff. Let's start talking about something else, like women or something.
Okay,
Everybody-
so
Beer.
here's one thing. I want to get Chris's opinion, and Gary, you too, even though you haven't had a chance to do the Tennessee Knockout. So this last year, I made it back and I got to do the Tennessee Knockout, did the amateur thing on Saturday, right? And I did it for fun. Like my whole goal in going was to have a good time at the amateur shit on Saturday, and then go take pictures on Sunday to do the photo epic and do some filming and stuff, right? That was my goal. So I go ride Sunday and I do really good, and I get like in the top, I think I was like 23rd or 21st or something like that, like in the first race. And then in the second race I just barely made it, but I qualified for the back half. So like, okay, cool, like I qualified to go to the pro day, and everybody's giving me shit, even my dad, on like, okay, well, it looks like we just lost our internet. What happened? Are we still live? I don't know if we're still live. Somebody check the feed. Somebody check the feed. Somebody check the feed. See if you can call them back. Somebody check the feed. Check the feed. Check the feed. We might have lost them. Man, I'm telling you. One day, this show will run smooth. It's such a bad experience sometimes. It's okay. We're having fun, though. Did you guys back?
Yeah, can you?
No, I don't got a picture.
Hold on, I know picture.
My wife is pushing the buttons.
Wait.
Hey!
Whoa!
So where I was at was that I qualified for the pro shit on Sunday, but my dad and a bunch of other people were giving me shit the whole time, and I was like, listen, I rode great, sure. I had fun on Saturday, which was my goal, and then I got to take some bitchin' ass pictures on Sunday, which I think I did a fantastic fucking job. So like, did I bitch out? Did I whatever? Like, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
On not racing Sunday, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hate on it.
He's a moto guy though, so
Like, honestly, like, that's no joke. Like, especially if you want to take some kick-ass photos, like you said, that's cool. You got to get the whole experience. You did the experience Saturday, then you got to hang out and be a spectator and a photographer on Sunday. That's sick.
I'm with Chris on this a little bit because I mean, realistically, you're being realistic. You went and did what you wanted to do. So now knowing that, hey, I'm capable enough to to qualify for Sunday. Now, 2016, your goal is, hey, I want to make it into Sunday again and actually race Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I see it like that.
I appreciate you saying that, but I'm gonna go for the goal of having fun again because I know my hopes and my dreams would be dynamically crushed if I went into it like, all right, I'm gonna go into the High Labs on Sunday and I'm gonna qualify.
I'm not saying go blow the I'm just saying go ride. Like
Maybe you should come out west and try the King of the Motos.
King of Hammer, yeah,
King of
Hammer,
Motos.
King of Moto.
No.
Why?
I mean, because it costs money.
Yeah,
Costs money?
But I think Tennessee Knockout would be a little bit tougher, don't you think?
No,
No?
That's a tough call.
really different.
It's slippery.
Yeah, it's gnarly. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's going to be way more humid and way more like wet rocks, where you guys have a lot more of the loose, like shaly kind of shit that's going on. But that start is way more gnarly than what you get at TKO, and that's I think why the TKO allows somebody like myself to do so well. Like I'm a good technical rider, blah 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 blah, but I'm not an elbow busting mother bitch. Like so. That open start, that open start is just crazy.
he's a mother bitch.
Y'all
I heard that in a movie once.
y'all are mother bitches. Was it Pulp Fiction? I feel like it might have been Pulp Fiction.
No, I think it was on
English.
on Booty Call. You ever seen Booty Call?
Apparently, I have. If I'm using the word mother bitch,
Exactly.
but I don't know. That would be fun. But the thing is, it's I've driven across the damn country twice now to go do different events in Baja, and that shit's awesome. But it's all about the time, the effort, and the way to fund it, and the way to not be at work, and all that kinds of stuff. And you just gotta figure that stuff out. Obviously, we do this for fun and get paid very little for it. So
win the lottery and quit complaining.
okay, yep, just like you did.
Yeah, exactly. Good comeback.
Well, you got to buy tickets, dude. And if I win the lottery
To the gun show. Oh, sorry.
if I win the lottery, I'll hook you up. We'll make it.
All right, we're gonna
Motorcycling, do it for the love because you ain't doing it for the money.
Yep, and that's the biggest thing. My dad and I, the past 2 years, now that they've moved to Texas, we have had so much fun just traveling around, going to these events together. He drives the Sprinter in the RV, and then when he can't drive, I drive it, and we just gotta go ride. And he pit dads for me and shit. And it's not about he gave me so much crap about not racing Sunday, but I knew I wanted to. We did so well with the photo epic and the video from 2014 that I wanted to step it up. And so I was just like, no, Dad, this is it. But it's in reality, we talked and had so much fun and did all that shit together. We wouldn't have had that if we hadn't done it together. So, yeah, exactly. So, right on.
Agree. Hey, I just went to Montana and spent 7 days hunting with my dad that I haven't hunted with in about 7 years. And other than eating totally off the schedule of what I normally eat, and my liver needing a detox after 7 days.
No water, all beer.
Yeah, it was big. We had 6 guys. We had 6 guys for a week, and I go, "Hey, I need some water. Where'd you guys bring the water?" "Oh, we brought. I think there's a case in the truck." And I'm like, "Hold on, 1 case for 7 days?" Yeah.
No.
I can tell you, you could pretty much do the math.
He wasn't too sad about it.
I wasn't. Yeah. It was nice, though. I was nice to take a break from racing and not get up, drink coffee that was made with straight up, my dad, they full on old cowboy coffee. Like, we're in a wall tent, 23 below, and they pour coffee grounds in a big pot of water and just boil it, and you drink the coffee grounds. And, oh yeah, hey, you want some creamer in that? Well, guess what the creamer was? The creamer is Bailey's. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm Bailey's in my coffee. I'm like, I don't know about this.
You mean you're putting it in your coffee ground water?
Yeah, Kris wouldn't last about 6 hours, and he'd be like, I need my foo-foo stuff.
Heather, help me.
Heather, make me something.
Well, I need the Keurig. Where's
Heather,
the Keurig at?
I can't.
turn the fire. It's cold over here.
Push a button, damn it.
Heather, where's my sandwich?
Yeah, but then he'd be like, "Hey, you want to have sex?" And she'd be like, "Yeah." And then Gary'd be like, "Wait, I can't do that." Oh.
Right, exactly.
They'd be in a hotel by the time that
It's
happens.
too damn cold out there to have sex anyway.
Nobody needs to have their skin exposed in those kind of situations.
Right.
Nope.
Some of us aren't cut out for real men life.
Well, I would probably die because I probably wouldn't be able to eat because all the shit that they're eating I wouldn't eat.
Oh, we ate some stuff, man. I mean, it was.
I'll just be all dick and ribs is what I'd be.
He wishes. He goes.
Kris would be much more dick than ribs. Give me
I don't think so. I think it's all ribs. It's all bullshit.
I like it. So, Kris, well, we know, if I were to ask Gary this, we know what bike he's going to enjoy the most is his KTM 450. But, Kris, what bike so far that you've been testing of the 2016s is your personal favorite and why?
Well, for me, everyone knows this.
Switch.
I love Yamaha bike. The Yamaha bike this year is really good. The KTM, the new KTM is actually really good too. In our shootout, I rated it third behind the Yamaha and the Cowie. So, but for me, just as a guy going to buy a motorcycle and leaving it stock, the motor's great on the Yamaha. Has a spring fork that is really good. It's not the best cornering bike. Obviously, the KTM is a little bit better in the cornering department, but it's just tough to beat when you got a good set of suspension and a strong motor,
Absolutely. So what are your thoughts on the new 450 FX and the new 250X?
250X is, it's still kind of moto. He has an 18-inch rear tire, and I figured that they could, they didn't have handguards on that bike. On the FX, they have handguards. It's more off-roady, and the transmission's different. So I feel the FX is more an off-road version of that bike.
Yeah.
I think it's for a guy that likes to go race Grand Prix and do the occasional hare and hound and go ride moto. I think that's a kick-ass bike. It'd be really fun to ride.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a two-stroke guy. Every time I ride a two-stroke, I always think, man, what was I thinking back in the day? I'm just so spoiled riding the bigger four-strokes where you can be lazy and do what you want to do still,
What was the biggest big bore you ever put on one of your two-strokes?
500 kid.
Well, Supercross, it was 176.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And you didn't get every hole shot ever known to man.
Well, the 176 only lasted one race because that's when all shit broke loose. Like, Vuillemin called me out. I was rolling inside, still tripling. So either I had to switch up my riding style or go back to the normal bike. So I went back to the normal bike. So it was too convenient just to roll inside and jump. So I like, screw it, I'll go back.
Everyone's like, hey, that's not supposed to happen. You're like, oh, yeah, shit.
You're like, no, it's a 125. You're like, why does it sound so deep? I don't know. Maybe it's that silencer.
Why do you like it so deep? I don't know. Shit. It just feels good.
Exactly.
He was only cheating himself. That's all I had to remember.
Oh my God. I love it. Well, I'm really interested. I rode the 2015 250 FX. I know Jason Raines will be coming back before Supercross with some of the new Yamahas. I'm looking forward to riding the 450 YZ. up against the FX, and then kind of the same thing, riding the 250 YZ and then riding the 250 YZX, kind of back to back, just to really see if there really is that much of a difference. I haven't ridden the bikes, but I kind of agree, like what it sounds like, just what they've changed, that the 250X maybe isn't off-road enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and here's another thing too, is I meant to talk about this right when it happened, but Chris Dennison in his video about people bitching and complaining about the 250X not having a electric start.
Electric start, right.
It's not about having an electric start in the parking lot, and it's not about having an electric start when you're next to your bike or your truck. It's about the time when you're like you fucked up on a hill and you're like, oh my God, and the second you like try to throw your leg over, you're gonna fall off. Like, that's when I'm like, I want my electric start. Like,
exactly.
And that's why those bikes should have it, because the technology's there. Like, there's no reason for it not to be on the bike. So
yeah, and I think that's going to change. Obviously, it's the first year of this bike, and they probably want to see how sales was going to do.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think sales could have been better with an electric start because, one, it's still pretty bitch when you have an electric start 2-stroke. We're used to electric start 4-strokes, but when we get on a 2-stroke, an electric start, it's really nice. But I agree. After testing all different kinds of bikes and having the KTM and the Husky have an electric starts, and you get on a Japanese model and you have to kick it, you're like, man, this sucks. You just get used to pushing a button. But honestly, like for racing, and I'm sure you can attest to this, is sometimes electric start is not quicker off the flag than it is like having a kickstart, right?
Yep. I honestly, like, it's funny we're on this topic. Like,
I pulled whole shot on Gary at the works race, just FYI.
Suck it.
Yeah, it only lasted.
I lasted 2 corners, but I still pulled whole shot.
I'm sure Heather was high-fiving somebody at that point.
She made me a sandwich when I got back. I was good.
Yeah, I think I lapped him or got close. But anyway, we're not going to go there. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to put him down.
Don't hurt my feeling.
It's funny, I think it's great that Yamaha is showing interest in the off-road market, because as a racer, and of course, I ride for KTM and I love my KTM, but I think it's a good thing that that somebody is putting pressure on KTM right now, because KTM has the off-road market pigeonholed. Like, realistically, you look at it, they are the ones supporting off-road racing. They have an off-road team. They are still dumping money into off-road bikes and making them better.
They got a shit ton of off-road bikes.
And the good thing is I like that Yamaha's putting pressure, because it's only going to make KTM better, and it's only going to make more options for racers and riders, and having KTM, we're not going to be racing ourselves. It's not just going to be all KTMs on the line or Huskies or whatever it may be. And going back to what Chris had to say about the electric start, I actually, personally, for dead engine starts, I like the kickstart better, because I had it, like, on my old Cowies when I rode Kawasaki's, my technique was, I had a technique down, and it was fall proof. Whereas, like, with the electric start, like when I first got it, I liked the kickstart better. But now that I'm the second year now on my KTM, we've done some stuff, and Robbie and the guys in the motor department have done some stuff to help the bike fire quicker. And
what's that stuff, Gary?
Stuff.
Do you have the fun little button that Caleb Russell and like Casey Martinez have on their little?
Yeah. It's not really a big secret. All it is they switched it from a button to basically and anybody can do it with a KTM. It's not a secret, and it's
everybody get your pins out.
Get your pins out.
Pen and papers.
You can actually we wired into the front brake, so when you pull the front brake in, it trips and turns the fuel pump and the CDI box on. So it just helps basically initiate the starting process. When you hit that button,
fuel pump on, right?
It turns the fuel pump on and the electrical system on when you pull in the front brake.
Right.
And for somebody like myself who's only had a 4-stroke now with EFI for a little while, that's like when they say, okay, you want to hit the button and you can kind of hear everything, for lack of a better term, rev up. Like, you can kind of like feel it vibrate, and then you give it a second and then push it to start it. Like, that's kind of like essentially what you're doing is that.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, it helps a little, but that's the thing with electric start is I spent a lot of time with Destry before the first Hare and Hound this year because starts are so important at Hare and Hound, and Destry's, very, very, knowledgeable and good, and probably one of the best guys ever to race desert. And so,
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, dude, him and Danny Hamill are
Okay, I was
tied.
gonna say I have disagreed. Him
and Danny Hamill are tied for a Hare and
What
Hound.
about Dan Smith?
I don't know Dan Smith.
See, this guy
I don't
doesn't
go
know.
back
This
there.
guy doesn't know his history.
I don't know my
man.
history. man.
He's not a desert rat like you are, Keefer.
You know what though? You know what? He put me on blast, and I didn't lie to him, and I didn't cheat. So I just told him the truth.
Yeah,
But,
it is.
so what I'm trying to say is the good thing about electric start on 4-stroke or 2-stroke is it. Sometimes I feel like it may not start as quick as the Kickstarter, but it's always consistent. You're always going to get basically the same. If you don't mess up and you hit that button perfect, and a lot of guys like I do it, I've done it. I did it at Works. That's why when I hit the button, I gave it gas too quick and it coughed.
Yep.
And that was my fault. It wasn't the bike's fault. So if you do the right starting procedure with a KTM or any bike with electric start, at least it's consistent.
Well, I think also too, like what you were saying about Dennison's post is there's just Nazis anywhere you go. Like if people think that if you don't have an electric start, it's not an off-road bike. You're like, dude, that's not the case.
Right.
So
absolutely. I think now we all know that Yamaha is slow. It has a slow process. Like they kind of tiptoe into anything new. It seems like until they have that brand new shit like they did when they were did the 4-strokes back in the 90s. But I think they could have had many more transplants from the KTM to the Yamaha side if it would have had electric start, because everybody that was like just ready for something different would have seen a bike that was exact. They would have been like, oh, well, yeah, it has this, it has this, it has this. Why wouldn't I? It's $1,000 less. Bam.
Right.
They would have just gone over. But the second that it didn't have an electric start, they were like, I've had that for 8 years. I love this thing. Like, why would I not want it?
Some of that too is obviously money.
Yeah.
And Yamaha didn't have to redesign anything to get this model out. They could pitch this off-road model and just, add a couple things that off-road guys do,
Yep.
So let's see how it works. Are they getting sold? If they do, all right, let's throw an electric start on, This way they have the bikes out already, and if they're selling them, no harm, no foul. It doesn't cost them any more to manufacture anything, as far as getting parts on top of something else.
Yep. Well, before we close up, Keefer, I just wanted to let you know it looks like the National Enduro this year isn't in Texas, but it's going to be in Louisiana. So look at the schedule, see if the Dirt Rider guys can make it, and if you can, I'll make sure that I can make it, and we'll have our off-road-a-thon against each other there, where you're gonna beat me, but whatever. But huh?
Yeah, I won't have a beer with you, but I'll drink a water with you. But Gary will have the beer.
So
no, I just mean that we can race each other, like legitimately.
There you go. I'm into that.
So I have a question for you. We brought up Dale Spangler here earlier.
Yeah.
When are you gonna have Dale on the show?
Dale was on. Was it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Dale was on. We were talking about Dirt Buzz. We talked with Jason. Yeah. We talked with Jason Rains about the new Yamahas, specifically kind of the 450 FXs, just because that's kind of like the new, and then the 250X, and then we had Dale on after that. Yeah, because we wanted to talk about Dirt Buzz and all the cool stuff that he's doing over there. And it's fun that one of his first reviews was a product that you could use on all your male parts. I thought that's pretty much a testament to Dale Spangler right there.
Dale's good shit, man. Dale's always treated me good, and he's always been my guy to go to the fly. So it's a good deal.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it sounds like you guys got more family going on, and my wife, I can tell, is about to leave. That she's just ready to go to bed. So definitely appreciate.
Quick before you go, I just want to
give
you guys an update here for Dirt Rider.
Please.
The next issue is our Rider of the Year issue.
Ooh.
And I haven't broke this to anyone, so it's coming down to seat time right now. And our Rider of the Year is Ryan Sipes.
Hell yeah!
So we were on the fence. We actually were going to go with Caleb Russell, but I'm kind of glad we didn't do that now, just because he's Cycle News' Rider of the Year.
Yep.
And Ryan got our Rider of the Year. He's on the cover, and it's a really cool issue. It talks a lot about his background and why he got an off-road and his time at the ISD, obviously. But I think he's a well-deserving a candidate for that. And he's also a family guy, which I enjoy. You know, those type of guys. So
Absolutely.
it's cool to have him on our cover and being Rider of the Year.
Yeah, it's funny. Those were literally when I put my vote in for the AMA Rider of the Year. It was like, do I go Caleb Russell or do I go Ryan Sipes? And I went Ryan Sipes. And that was my choice. And it was like one of those things where it's like the ISDE did it for me. Like, it just fucking brought it home. And I was just so ecstatic over that. So, no, that's a great choice. Thank you very much for letting us know.
Yeah, so we had your back, right?
No, absolutely.
Boom.
That makes it look like I have my back and a big fist in my butt, but whatever.
Yes. Don't get fisted, man.
Yeah.
Don't get fisted in your butt. It's not.
Shit could get weird. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for being yourselves and tuning in and being on Seat Time. We really appreciate it, and look forward to having you guys on soon again.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Brian.
All right.
See ya.
We're doing
Bye.
Bye. Oh, let's hug. Let's hug it out before we leave.
Bye, guys. Awesome. Well, it's been episode 191, and it's been a little bit longer than we thought, and I apologize that to my wife because I told her it was going to be a short show, but sometimes when you just get guys talking, you just let them talk, and you have fun with them, and you giggle, and you just kind of meander and just see where life takes you. So thank you very much for tuning in. Of course, Tea Time is brought to you by the fine folks over at Fly Racing, where you can find out more at flyracing.com, Kenda Tire USA at kendatire.com, and Stillwell Performance at stillwellperformance.com. Remember to keep her pinned, but the good thing about Stillwell is the off-road suspension. I can't say enough about those guys. Alan Stillwell will be on in 2 weeks. We're going to talk a little bit about all the off-road stuff that he's been doing this past year, some of the bikes that he's getting ready for 2016, and all the good news that's coming up. For those of you who don't know, we did just put out our Garmin Verb XE review, so please go check that out on seattime.com. Oh, seattime.co. Wow, that's the first time I've ever even screwed that up. So that's a good time. It was fun. Of course, I'm Brian Pierce, your host. You can find me at Woody B. Pierced on the internets. And this has been Seat Time. We will be live again in 2 weeks. Of course, we're going to take next week off because it's the holidays. Everybody's getting ready for Christmas. This is going to be absolutely crazy. No one would be able to come on, and my wife would kill me. So, remember to always enjoy a pint full of awesome. We will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Peace.